Welcome to the Kink. My name is Kenya, and we will be talking dirty after dark. Tonight's subject is what is your kink? I have two people sitting here with me that are my guests, and we're going to have an open forum discussion about different kinks and what their kinks may be. So, if possible, log in and turn it on because we got some boobies out here and, and some beautiful faces. So, like I said, the question is, what is your kink? Are you into foot fetish, spankings, or just good old nasty dirty talk? So we're going to begin, and I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves. Our first guest is Darcy.
Hello everyone, my name is Darcy and I'm here with Kenya tonight, and you guys can call us, ask us any questions. I'm definitely open for the discussion tonight.
Tell them what you do, because you got that beautiful hair over there.
Well, I am a hairstylist located in Carrollton, Texas, Dallas, Texas, and that's what I do at this moment.
Okay, and our next guest is Brandon.
Yes, my name is Brandon. I'm just here to fill up some empty space. Ask me some questions. I'll do the best that I can to answer. Right now, I'm just doing photography full time. If you're interested, I plug in some social media pages at the end. But yeah, you can definitely look me up, follow me, and I'm just here for a good time.
Okay. So you guys probably would not believe, or you probably would, that fetishes have been around for a long time, since 1857. And that's when they actually coined the words fetish. So we're going to be talking about, just what people think about different fetishes. If you would like to call in and give your 2 cents, or even let us know what your fetish is, give us a call at 203-802-KMWI or 5694. So, Darcy, I know you were so quiet over there. What? Listen, I have a fetish, and my thing is, I think I like to be spanked and choked, and that's. Some people can't deal with that. They think that having a fetish is kind of weird and abnormal, but it's actually not. It's really the way your brain is wired. And most people don't realize that. So like kids that are getting spankers all the time because they just not acting right, sometimes that turns into a fetish. You have a lot of nerve endings that are connected to the anus and rectal area, so it actually stimulates a child when you're spanking them. And they grow up to continue to get spanked, or they want to spank someone. So, do you have a fetish, Darcy?
I would probably say choke. I'd spanking sometimes, but I can't tolerate high pain, but I like to be choked to the point where I almost pass out. It just does something to me.
Ooh, I know. I know.
So that is that's probably, I don't, I wouldn't say I'm too kinky, but that's something I really enjoy.
Okay. What about you, Brandon?
More recently, I've probably fell into the BDSM world, or the bondage arena. I don't know how much detail we're supposed to go into right now, but that would be probably my focal point at this moment. But I'm just all over the place. Feet are cool. Really, I just like to experiment. So
now, did you know that foot fetishes are actually a cross wiring of the brain?
Expand.
So what happens is the nerve ending that actually puts the sensory for liking feet or looking at feet is right next to another nerve ending. So they actually got cross-wired, and then it causes people to look at the feet and have arousal. It's the stimulation of the genitalia. Those two are right next to each other.
So I should get a check?
There's nothing you can do about it now. There is nothing you can do about it now because you're going to like feet forever.
So, yeah. Well, that's interesting. I've never heard that before. So.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, can you elaborate on your BDSM?
Sure. I've noticed, like, really young, so that I just, okay, let's stay on this. So focusing straight on the BDSM. So I was probably, let's say probably about 21 and
Okay.
35 now, so it's about 14 years ago.
Okay.
So I met a woman that was just kind of in that world, but she was a dom, or dominant, the dominant. And I'm a believer that we all have our sexual personality. So I have a dominant sexual personality. So we didn't really mesh well, but she taught me a lot as far as just the world. I just expanded on that. So going from there, I had some conversations and made some people, and here I am there.
So because I am actually in both worlds. So I am dominant and I'm also submissive. And I love being that way because I can turn it on and off whenever I need to. So, do you ever feel like you would be able to turn off that
No.
dom side? No.
I don't have that submissive side in me. I can't.
So no butt plugs?
No. I can't see myself participating in that. No.
Have you ever tried dominatrix, Darcy?
No, I have not, but I do have an aunt that is her full-time career. Yes, she has been doing it all my life. I've never known for her to have a job, and that is how she's always paid her bills. I have taken her to one of her celebrity clients and kind of just waited outside, and she was there for about like 3 hours, but from what I was told, there was no sex involved or anything like that, but she had a nice clientele.
I've done dominatrix once or twice in my lifetime, and it does get extensive. There's really no sex involved at all, and you can make a good living off of it. People just don't know how well you can make a good living off of it.
Right.
Well, go into detail. The experiences, I mean.
So I met this guy at the club, and he was very aggressive with his approach, but further talking to him, he wanted a woman who was very very in charge, very in control. And as time went on about talking to him, he just was like, oh, I want you to dominate me. I want you to beat the shit out of me and spank me and this and that and the other. And I'm like, oh, okay. Never done it before, never tried it. And it was actually, I let out a lot of aggression.
Oh, wow.
A lot of aggression. Everything that I was stressed about, I beat the shit out of him. And he enjoyed it. He seriously enjoyed it. And that kind of scared me because I kind of enjoyed it too. And I didn't know my emotions can get that, high. So.
You would do it again?
I would. I really would.
So to expand on that, and I'm not saying I'm any expert or anything, but one thing that I think is very important is to establish trust. So whatever partner you're deciding to go down this road with, you have to build that trust with them. They have to be able to trust that you won't go too far or that you won't do anything that will permanently harm them.
That's true. We had our safe words, and that also goes along with impact play. Impact play is when you're using flogging, which is the little metal whips. When you're doing the spanking, sometimes it can get a little rough, and you have to trust who you're with, and make sure that partner knows when to stop. Because
What
it can turn into a dangerous situation.
What are your thoughts on this, Darcy?
I mean, I feel like I may not have the personality for that. I think I may be a little submissive in a sense. I have a more dominant personality out and about, but in the bedroom, I don't think that I could take on that role.
Would you ever try?
I would try, but I still think that I'm a little timid.
What would be your toys of choice?
Well, I don't know. Like, I think that I would just have to be in the situation. It would just have to happen. It couldn't be planned. It would have to just, okay, this is what's getting ready to happen. I don't have a choice.
Would you ever use a paddle?
Absolutely. If that's what they wanted. Because I would want to make sure that they're getting pleased the way they want to.
So you could be the dominatrix. If you're using a paddle, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna just go, no. You're gonna go back and
yeah. So I think that, like I said, I don't think it's something that could be planned. Like, oh, okay, this is what I want you to do to me. I'm like, I don't know. But if
surprise, we brought a paddle with us. So are you ready on the live stream?
Sure.
So have you ever done role playing?
I have.
Okay. So what do you think about that?
I think role play is important, especially in like long-term relationships. I think that sex starts to get boring. They want to see something different. So I mean, I have.
Like I enjoy role playing, but nowadays it seems like they're going a little too far with this whole furry role play with the
stuffed animals.
With the stuffed animals and the heads and
I'm definitely must be disconnected from the world. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, so they dress up in these whole fur outfits,
okay.
like the kind they sell for Halloween.
Okay.
And and they're actually they'll cut a hole in there for the penis, and I'm like I can't
get with that.
No, I can't get down with a 10-foot furry trying to fuck me.
So $1,000 you won't make it happen.
Well,
I would try.
You would try.
If I met a woman that was into it, why not? I've never done it, so.
But it's already getting hot and heavy, and you in this big fursuit, and you trying to long stroke.
But G, you'll do it, right?
When in Rome, play as the Romans. So, may I ask a question?
You sure? Go ahead.
So, in the Black community, African American community, why do you feel like practices like this are so taboo? Or do you feel like they're taboo? Maybe
I do. I honestly think they're taboo because there's such a stigma about Black women having children young, and we're not supposed to be having sex, or we're over promiscuous. Mm-hmm. Even when you're young, you're told, girls, stop acting fast. Mm-hmm. So we hide a lot of that stuff, even though we're doing it. Mm-hmm. I went to the strip club a couple of weeks ago, and lo and behold, there's a Black stripper on the stage, and she's got a light up, glow in the dark butt plug. But wow. I'm sure in public she would not say, hey, I'm using this and I'm using that, because we're very much taught to keep things behind closed doors.
I agree.
And I don't agree with that, because it's unhealthy, because if you don't ever talk about things, you never get that aggression or that expression out.
Okay. If she would have taken out that butt plug, would you have licked it?
No.
That's not your area.
That's not
Would
my
you?
fetish. That's not my kink.
Maybe, I don't know. I gotta be in the situation. Maybe, probably. Why not? I don't know.
See, I'm a germaphobe. I'll do certain things, but it's like that's gone too far in.
How?
I am until I get into the bedroom.
Oh, when the bedroom stops.
It's no holds barred.
What?
No holds barred. So, what are your thoughts on the Black community and
Well, me personally, I agree. I had a friend that used to actually own a swinger club in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I would never step foot in it, just because I felt like I didn't want to be seen in there. I didn't want to be exposed to that lifestyle. I just didn't. I didn't think that it was okay. I didn't want to be judged.
Right.
So when I finally got the opportunity to go, it definitely was more whites than blacks.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
But I enjoyed the experience, and it even took me a while to even share that I actually went.
Well, my thing is, I think there should be a place where the black community, excuse me, can go out there and just enjoy themselves, because when you do go to traditional swinger clubs, you have all the white nerdy people, and it's people that you would never interact with in real life. So, send me to a place where, I got some Spanish men or some, Caribbean men, or, straight from Africa, and
well, I think
and
also,
they handsome as hell.
Like when growing up, when I was in school, even like in high school, when people were having sex, like back then, like even the only thing that was okay to do was just have sex.
Right.
Like the women, if the girls were hurt to even giving head, they were hoes, they were nasty, or even
Right.
the guys. So I feel like with it being stopped so much, but the white girls were doing it. Like they were in the bathrooms, they, the teachers, the gym teachers, but it just at that time seemed perfectly fine for them and not for us.
See, I just had that conversation with my ex-husband, and he was like, man, when we were married, you never gave head like that. And now, it's like you don't have an issue with giving head. And I was like, well, it's not an issue now. When I was married, I felt like I needed to be in a certain role. Mm-hmm. And that was, almost like the Stepford Wives. Like, I was prim proper, I didn't do anything wrong, and I didn't want him to think that I was out there doing other stuff, so I didn't get super freaky and kinky with him.
Oh, okay.
And you learned this at the swingers club.
No.
Techniques, not just
No.
But I understand what you're saying with
Right.
that.
Right. So, and it's now I'm just like, okay, I like giving head, and, there's nothing wrong with it. So why are people still saying, oh, only on birthdays and holidays?
I think we're just conditioned to think that way. I really do. Like I said, I didn't have my first time oral situation until I was 19 years old, and it was a situation I was with my best friend. We were like, we're gonna do this at the same time.
Girl, I was in my 30s. Okay, I was in my 30s.
So we were gonna do this at the same time, and we had a conversation about it. I think we were watching porn before it happened to make sure that we did it right. But to be that old and trying it for the first time, then you realize, okay, I actually enjoyed it. But then it's like, okay, you can't enjoy it too much, because this is not what you're supposed to be doing.
Right, because people are going to talk about you and say you're not supposed to be doing this.
Well, it's interesting that you all are saying this. I've met a lot of amazing women in my life, and I've never had an issue with the oral part. I've never had I've never met a woman that said I don't do this, or I won't do this, or they've always done it willingly. So it's surprising to hear you all say that it's. I know you brought up holidays and birthdays or whatnot,
right.
But
even at a young age, they were willing to.
Yeah,
Then you was with some hoes.
See, and that's
I thought they were amazing women. I didn't say
they were amazing because they was giving you good head.
But man, I'm not sure who's watching this.
I know, right?
I started off young. I was like a kid, when I started. And,
Wow.
I've never ran into a situation to where it was. I mean, and I'm sure I'm saying that loosely. I'm sure it's some, sprinkled in there somewhere. But for the most part, every woman I've dealt with has been very open to giving, orally. But I also put it out there. In the beginning, I put it out there. This is what I expect. That's probably my favorite part of sex is oral, giving and receiving.
So let me tell you, when I lost my virginity at 18,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy that I was with, he was like, "You better not give me head, cause then you a hoe." And I'm like,
I've heard people say that before.
"Oh, okay." Mm-hmm. So after that, any guy that I was with,
You thought that.
I thought that. So, I was like, oh, they're trying to force you to do it and everything else. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And you think I'm a hoe? No, you better be lucky you got this. So, it just kind of shut everything down. But then as I got older, like I said, the first time that I really gave head on a regular, I was in my 30s. And it took me that long to realize that it was okay.
What's the regular? How many times a week you think is good?
Listen, if I can do it every day. No, I mean, but if I'm with somebody and I'm very spontaneous.
Okay.
So it's just like if you said, oh, okay, let's step into the bathroom while we at a dinner party or something, and I'll be like, okay. So I don't.
Before you wouldn't.
Before I was like, nah, we're not doing nothing.
So what are your thoughts of the kink lifestyle and just like traditional dating? Do you expose your kinkiness to everyone that you're intimate with? Do you feel like I need to save this for someone special? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, with me, I don't expose everything.
Okay.
Because, it's like giving them a little dose at a time. Because some people just aren't conditioned to take it because, it's still considered weird and not normal. But it's completely normal. It's just the way people are wired. And a lot of people, have been doing it for years, but they're so afraid to admit it. So, I mean, just... you get a sprinkle here, a sprinkle there, and I have to fill you out first and really get to know you. There's some people that know every single part of me and know what I like, what I don't like.
What about you, Brandon?
If I don't trust a woman enough to share that information with them, then I won't have sex with them. So at this point in my life, I call it traditional sex. I'm not having traditional sex at this point. Like I'm going to explore different moves, different avenues. No pun. But yeah, if I'm not with a woman that I can be open with, then I'm not going to deal with her. So
what do you think about like anal sex? Because like anal sex, I've been there where I'm like, okay, let's try. But it's just way too painful. And, for the longest I thought, well, any man who wants to have anal sex wants to be with a man.
Oh, you asking me?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I'm not against anal sex. I don't necessarily ask for it. Like, typically if I'm doing it, I've met a woman that wants to try it or she's into it. So I'll do it, but... I've had some bad experiences with it.
Elaborate.
Anal sex can get messy.
It gets messy.
It can get messy, literally. If it's not done correctly, and I don't know, like I said, all the ins and outs on it, but from my understanding, the woman's supposed to have a bowel movement like half an hour before the act takes place. And
like I've actually, with the person I was with, I actually gave myself an enema beforehand just to clean myself completely.
And that's a kink. Some men are into that. Enema, so that's a real thing. So some men are into watching the process of an enema and all the fluids that come out, and so or some people. I don't want to say some men, but some people are into that. But I've done it. I've had shitty dick. I've came out with
So do you stop and wash before you re-enter?
Probably not. I probably no, probably not.
He said he don't have no OCD or anything in the bedroom, so everything's
crazy. In my real life, I don't want anything touching me, but in the bedroom, I'm for it.
Ooh,
that's great.
I know. Because I'm like, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Go wash.
But to answer your question, yes, I'm okay with anal. I'm not. That's not my go-to. That's not. I'm not meaning like, hey, yeah, can I fuck you in your ass?
So do you feel like if a woman constantly wants anal, then there's something wrong?
Hell no. No, she just wants to get her ass. Fuck. No. Can we? Yeah, we can say that. No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think that she's into what she likes it for whatever reason. I think that I hope that she's aware of the complications that can come with it.
Right, because
Some
you're going to be
things
shitting
Yeah.
nonstop.
Because I'm sure nobody wants prolapse ass. Or, that's a kink as well. Some men are into, or some people are into prolapse ass. And, everything, what's the cavity? Anal. That's the anus.
The rectal cavity.
Yeah, that can get ruptured. So just be careful, be mindful.
Listen, you can have a heart attack. The wrong way.
Well, I haven't had it regularly, but I've had it a time or two, and the first time I didn't enjoy it as much. I think I was a little young. The second time it felt amazing. I would do it again.
Well, the one time that I did it, I guess the person was very skilled at it. So he had a vibrator in the front and then penetrating through the back.
Oh, wow.
So it was more of, I was so relaxed because I didn't really feel it because of the vibrator. But
Someone's home.
because of the vibrator, but it was like it took my mind off of it. But when other people have tried it, I'm like, oh no, I'm grabbing the couch or the bed, whatever.
The couch.
So let me ask you this. So would you all, as the two women in the group, would you all be into, or in the room, would you all partake in double penetration?
I think I would. I get watching it in porn. I get turned on by it. I like to be dominated, anyways. So if a guy is holding me down and very forceful, that turns me.
This
on.
is consensual, I'm guessing.
Yes, it's consensual.
Okay.
Like we've already had it established, that trust factor, and no means no. So when we get to that point, and I'm open. It's like, hey, let's go for it. And I like that rough sex. So hold me down and, do what you can do.
Have you participated in double penetration?
Not yet.
What was the sign
What took so long to say no? Did you almost? Probably was it close?
Almost, but not quite.
And when you say double penetration, are we talking about two men, or just we could talk about, or?
That's a good question. I mean, yeah, two men, like one man in your vagina while the other man's in your ass.
I don't think I'm there yet. Give me a couple of years.
It wasn't two men. It was a man and a woman with a strap on.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I may enjoy that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
And
Would you participate?
No, not with.
So
if it was
like a man, you and a woman, another woman.
If it was me and another woman and a dildo, I would, but not two men not the double penetration, two men and a woman.
So no trains.
That's not really my thing. I don't want to participate sexually in another man is in the area.
Okay.
So let me ask you, because a lot of men have this fantasy about being with two women. So being with two women, sometimes you're not enough for one woman. So how do you satisfy two women at one time?
So you asked the right question. I'm the king of two women. So, I feel like that as the man in there. So first of all, we're talking about threesomes. I think you have to have a clear understanding with your mate of what the guidelines are, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. I think it truly falls on your woman of what should take place.
Okay.
I don't ever think that the man should make his woman feel uncomfortable in a situation like that. So I think everything should be talked about. Communication is key in those situations. And I think if you orchestrate it the right way, I am one of those people that probably isn't enough for it. My stamina's not the same as it used to be. I probably don't drink enough water. So that's a lot of work if I'm doing all the work.
Right.
So you get them working. If it's oral between them, if it's some kind of making out between them, or just some kind of intimacy between those two that stretches the process out.
Right.
And you fill in where you need to. If you need a break, take a break. Let them go.
So is it more of just the man watching the two women interact?
No, I wouldn't say that's the majority, but I think that is needed. I don't think I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how men are out here operating, but If they're saying they're just out here, pumping the whole time, and they just out here just, the whole time they just going from this woman to that woman and from this woman to that, I think that would probably be a little fictional. But it's possible, I guess. But me personally, no. I'm taking breaks. I'm chilling. I'm watching. I'm caressing. I'm rubbing.
Right.
I'm instructing.
So, being the only man at the table, so when you have two women together and you find the women are more attractive to each other, and how do you feel? Do you feel like you're left out, or are you enjoying what you have?
I'm enjoying it. When I say when it comes to two women, even if I'm not participating physically, I've watched a lot of, in person, I've watched a lot of.
A lot, huh?
Right.
I mean, when I say a lot, I mean a lot. Yeah. So what was the question? So yeah, I don't ever feel like left out. No, I feel as if.
So do you feel like you're left
it.
out if they kind of like push you to the side and
No,
be
I wouldn't feel left out.
They want to be more interactive with each other.
I would watch. Yeah, I would be okay with that.
So you would just catch your breather at that moment.
Yeah, get some water.
He's instructing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a good instructor.
No, I'm sure you are.
When it comes to situations like that, I'm a good instructor.
So how well versed are you guys in about foot fetish? Foot fetish is like the number one fetish around so far. I mean, I've been introduced to the world, and people are like, they're going crazy over toes.
That's nothing but facts.
Nothing but facts. I'm telling you.
I wouldn't say well versed, but I have had a couple of situations where I've used my feet for a man to finish his business,
and that is called a foot job.
So I've done that, and now I'm just starting to realize how much men are just into feet. I recognize it a lot more, and I haven't entered into the world. I don't know if my feet are just nice enough. I think they're okay.
Listen, I've seen some ugly toes that men have worshipped.
Yeah.
Like any toes are great toes in the foot fetish world.
So, so I wouldn't say well versed, but I've experienced it. I've talked to guys that are into feet, and it doesn't bother me. I know some people get freaked out by men that have foot fetishes, but I haven't experienced that extra that, the things that they want to do to your toes, or maybe some out of the blue comments. I haven't experienced that. Now that may freak me out a little bit, but I'm not sure yet.
Well, foot fetish is a totally different world, and it's a broad range. So there's men out there who like those little black flats that every woman is wearing nowadays. They want smelly feet. They want clean feet. They want feet that are wrinkled like, Chinese Sharpays. I mean, feet. It's like they want feet. Mm-hmm. And, it took me a while to just realize that, this is a big turn on for some guys. I've had some guys suck on my toes and, completely come from, just sucking on my toes. And I'm like, how do you do that? But they do it, What do you
Toe
think?
sucking feels amazing, by the way.
So it's my turn?
Your turn.
So, I guess being the only man at the table, I like feet. I wouldn't go as far as to say that I have a fetish as to what I've seen.
Right. Right.
So I've been lucky enough. So the sexual underworld, I've kind of been in tune with my whole life. And so when I say if it's not the norm, I call it the underworld.
Right.
So as far as the fetish world, I dated a lady years ago, and this is before the Instagrams and the social media how we know it. So she had a fetish website, and she kind of introduced me to that world, the whole making money off of marketing and making money off of the foot fetish world. That's kind of how I got into photography, was dealing with her and taking pictures for her. So it's huge, and I'm not saying go out and try to make money off of it, because I think at this point it's become oversaturated. Is that how you say oversaturated?
Yeah.
Is that an oxymoron? Oversaturated?
No.
Okay. So I believe it's become oversaturated because I feel like people have gotten into their heads that, oh, somebody will pay me money for a picture of my feet, but it's more that goes into it. You know,
Right,
it's a lifestyle. You know, so you have to embrace the lifestyle in order to reap the benefits of it. So I think it's become oversaturated, and but it does exist. You know, and I guess if speaking to ladies in the world, is this my camera? Yeah, speaking to ladies in the world. I think embrace it. If you meet a man that's into it, let him be into it. You know, don't shame him for it. Don't make him feel less than or like he's doing something wrong. Embrace it. You know, go down that journey with them or go down that road with them.
So let me tell you, I have a cute little story. So I went out on a date with this guy, and us as women, we don't want to bring nobody to our house. So I took him to our pool, sat down, we talked and stuff, and he started licking on my toes. And I'm like, okay, well, here's both of them, just enjoy what you're doing. And then, so I'm basically wind up giving him a foot job while he's sucking on my toes. This man nutted more than anybody I've ever seen in my life. And then I happened to look over, and the balcony that is looking over the pool, there's a guy up there jacking off. And I'm like, okay, so he's jacking off to this guy, sucking my toes, and because I knew he didn't see the other part, because he's too far away. And I'm like, man, it's just the littlest things. There was no sex involved, but yet two men got off on one thing. And so, that shows me right there, like, the fetish is real.
Now, did it make you nervous at all that it led to that? Or, at the pool, I mean, we're at a public setting.
Well, like, he wasn't afraid to what I was doing. He didn't want to cover up or anything else, and...
So no.
Did that make you feel powerful?
It did because, that'll lead to our next topic, the power of the pussy. But, I didn't have to use my pussy in order to be powerful. Mm-hmm. And I still had control.
Mm-hmm. You just use your foot as a pussy.
There you go. There you go.
Interesting.
So yeah, but he enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Got a foot massage and everything else. Mm-hmm. And I still felt sensual.
So was this a customer or was this a random person you're dating? Like, how did, like...
We're not going to answer those questions.
And as far as the cleanup, so you came on your feet?
Yeah, but there was a bathroom in the clubhouse. Okay, I was like, you're not coming to my...
Okay. So cool. That's an interesting story. Okay.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the next topic is?
The next topic is, so what do you think about spankings?
You asking me?
I'm asking
the group.
The group.
I'll start off. Me personally, I wouldn't want to be spanked.
Why?
It's just that sub and dom thing. That's a submissive act to me. I just couldn't bring myself to doing that. I'm not if I meet a woman that's into that, I'll do it, but it's not my go-to.
You don't want to hit it from the back and then just be spanking the shit out of her?
Okay, when you say spank, I'm taking a paddle and whip and
no.
Okay. Well, even I'm not a big ass smacker. Like, I will. You don't want to have the bad ass smack. It's a technique to it. So if you're going in, you got to make sure you go in so it sounds off. You don't want to. You don't want to have the ass make that doesn't sound off. I know we've all had it. Things in here too. We've all had the ass make that didn't sound off. So that you just had this muffled. So I don't want that. So I used to stay away from it. So yeah, I'm not really into the, spanking portion of it. I would though. If I met a woman that was into it, I would.
See, I love the spankings.
I like to be spanked, but the sound off part is what scares me because I feel like it'll hurt. But
it has to sound off though.
Right. So that's why I can't say that's a kink that I enjoy. I mean, I enjoy being spanked a little bit because it's, again, it's being the sub, but not to the point where I feel like I'm light. So if I'm gonna wake up with some bruises, that's may not be my style.
Have you ever squirted from spankings?
No, I've never squirted from spanking.
Have you squirted at all?
I have.
Okay. And what got you to that point?
Oral sex.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I've never squirted from.
See, I don't like oral sex to be given to me. It's something about it.
Is it just OCD thing?
I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like I'm just gonna get too much into it, and I'm gonna wind up squeezing his head too hard or whatever. I don't know.
I'm never denying oral sex ever. Maybe on my cycle for sure. And now, if he wants to do it on my cycle, that's just I can't get with that. But I'm never denying it. Are you ever denying oral sex at all for any reason?
Giving it?
Yes, giving it or getting it.
Receiving it.
No, I told you earlier. No, nobody telling me no.
Are you aggressive when you give oral sex? You look like you just
look like
you're aggressive. Like you just ramming your dick down their throat. You just look like
getting it. I've done some throat fucking in my life. If that's what you're asking, if that's what you're getting at. Yeah, I've done some throat fucking.
To the point that they threw up?
I've had some women throw up before.
Who cleaned it
up? I think it was a team effort.
It was a team effort.
Yeah, I think it was a team effort.
So when you know you want to do that, do you make sure she doesn't eat? Like, how does that go? Because I just couldn't see myself wanting that to clean up. Like, the cleanup act will be
like, I can't see myself throwing up on anybody's dick.
I think this conversation went somewhere. So I didn't even say that. You just asked me a simple question. Has it ever happened? Yes, that's part of it. I think if you're going to be a throat fucker, then you have to understand that that comes with it.
Did she know you was going to throat fuck her?
Yeah.
Okay, it was
I'm a consensual person. Everything that I do is consensual.
Okay.
So I don't
You
catch
asked.
anybody. Yeah, I don't catch anybody off guard. We want to get that out. Very consensual. Consent is very important. But some women are into that. But I think that's the choking portion of it, though. I think that's a kink.
It is.
So we should have a bell anytime it's a kink that's fucking up, like a ding. So that's a kink. Some women are just into choking, so that the thought of their breath being taken or whatever the case may be. So this may be something you're into. But
I like to be choked, but I don't like to be throat fucked because I can't breathe.
I think that for me is I have to be under the influence for that type of act. I don't think that I could just be completely sober. And I'm not saying that I'm against it. I'm not saying, but I haven't experienced it long enough. I mean, to the point where I gag, but not to the point where
gag is also
is that kink?
Yeah.
Ding.
I mean, not to the point where I gag, but not to the point where I'm throwing up or I can't breathe or my head is off the side of the bed and he just pounding. I've never experienced to that extent.
But you've seen it because those are very specific things.
I watch porn on a regular basis.
Yes.
And I even said like, "Oh, I want to experience that," just because I'm open to it. I just haven't yet.
Right.
Women, y'all tough. If somebody proposed that to me, I would hell no. But you all go through a lot, man. That's
Me too.
to hang your head
But
on
you're
the
asking
table.
for a whole lot.
I do ask for a lot. But go sorry.
Men think that we are bendable, plastic. Like we can go into any position, every position, and not everything is comfortable, and it's not enjoyable. So you guys think we are super women, which we are because we put up with it.
True.
But some people really enjoy it, though. That's the thing, though. It's some women that actually enjoy being submissive, enjoy the acts of pleasing the man, whatever that takes.
True as well.
So, it's kind of...
I've dealt with women that literally, and they will tell you, I get pleasure out of making sure that my man is pleasure. So, that's a real thing.
I thought that until I started to have more adult conversation about kinks and stuff. Maybe I'm not about that life.
Right.
And a lot of it's because I haven't been exposed to it. Mm-hmm. And the more I'm exposed to it, I'm like, it's not that bad. So I think that people take the definition of freak And it's very, very limited.
Right.
It's a whole nother world. You know, most people freaky is anal sex, give head. You know,
when you say most, who are you referring to?
I'm talking about the average, I would say, because most people that I know are not into the kinky world. At least they don't share it. Okay. So when they talk about freaky, they talk about, you know, stamina. They talk about like just the basics. They don't go into the extreme. I like to be choked to death, or I like to be fucked in the mouth, or anything.
Right, but a lot of people, they don't talk about their kinks because, you know, it depends on what kind of job they are. Now, there are bad kinks that are out there as well. You know, pedophiles or bestiality. And, you know, that's one thing I can't get with. You know, if my dog walked up to me and started licking my cat, I'm sorry. He gonna get tossed out the door. But there's some people that are willing to do that and get off on it. You know, and I used to live in California when I was real young. And that was the biggest thing. People would go to Mexico and watch women fuck horses. You know, that's a kink. But I could never imagine doing that.
Let's take a step back, if you don't mind. Do you mind if we take a step back?
No, go ahead.
So,
go ahead.
There is a difference between fetish and kink.
Right.
A slight difference, but a difference nonetheless. Are we aware of the difference between a fetish and a kink?
Most people are not.
Okay.
Most people are not.
Okay. Well, I have the definition of or would you like to?
Well, the definition of fetish is being sexually attractive to non-human objects. Kink is the performance of something of the norm. Or not of the norm, sorry.
Okay. I have a little different definition.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I don't mind being corrected.
No, not saying that you're incorrect, but you know, Google, you know, so fetish definition. A form of sexual desire in which gratification is linked to an abnormal degree to a particular object, item of clothing, part of the body.
That would be non-human.
Yes, the item of clothing, but okay. So when I take that, I gather that as, I hate to say obsession, but I can't get off without this. So if you say feet, like I can't can't perform, I can't move forward sexually without feet being involved. So if we go to kink, a kink is something that ignites a sexual desire. Examples of common kinks are object kinks, so different types. So you have object kinks, body kinks, group kinks. So not necessarily saying that I need this, so I need this to perform, but this is what's going to get my attention. So if this woman walks in with this big butt, that could be considered a kink.
Well, and that's true because most fetishes are learned. So and it stems from their childhood. So you know if they're constantly seeing their grandmother or you know Big Mama or
Where
Mama.
are you going with this?
but no, seriously. If you seeing you know Big Mama and Mama walking around in house slippers, some men that have foot fetishes, they need their woman to be in house slippers 24/7. They want the stench because you see them house slippers ran over time and time again, and they want their woman to be in ran over house slippers with a stench, and that will get them aroused.
Yeah, I have my nephew. I would never forget. He was such a young kid, and every time we used to watch Space Jam all day, every day. But if he would sit next to me, like on the floor, he'll grab my foot and start to rub my foot. And I'd be like, boy, stop, you know. But he now has a foot fetish.
Interesting. He shared that with you? That
yes.
He has a foot fetish?
Yes.
Okay, so let's pin that. And so you feel like the sexuality, or I'll say a fetish, let's be specific. Fetish starts from parental?
It does. Just like I said earlier, you know, spankings. Basically, you know, the nerve endings stimulate them as they're getting spankings as a child. And those people normally get older and love to get spankings or give spankings.
I've never been choked as a child. I just watched it in porn and saw how much they enjoyed it. I'm like, I want to try that.
I hated spankings when I was a kid. Like I said, makes sense. So let me ask you this then. Sorry. So at what age do you feel like sexual arousal happens?
I think about 7 or 8.
Interesting.
About 7 or 8. Yeah.
I'll say about 6. Yeah, 7, 8 is good.
But I mean, honestly, because that was probably the first time I found my mother's vibrator.
Sheesh.
I think it's, and I don't know if it stimulates when you're, for boys younger, I'm not sure. I don't think I started to feel any tingles or anything until I was in middle school. That's when I started to feel the pussy tingle.
Well, no, I think I was younger, but I didn't know what it was. And that's a big difference, because I would go to the bathroom and pee, and it was just like, oh my God, you know how
Kink,
like if you kink.
Yep, go to showers.
When you held it for so long, and you're trying to get all of it out, you start to tingle, and then there's that pulsating, and
it does feel amazing.
That was a turn on for me, and I would hold my bladder for a long time when I was a kid, but I didn't know what it was. I just knew what that feeling was.
Oh wow!
I started masturbating at 7 years old.
Lord.
Yeah, I mean, with me having boys, I'm concerned, and the reason why I say that is because a lot of the men that I've communicated with, they started masturbating young. They started having sex 9, 10 years old. And I'm looking at my 11-year-old and I know he is at a point where he's exploring himself. Right. I know for a fact.
Taking them longer showers.
And so it's just interesting that they don't have to see anything. They don't have to, because I'm almost certain that my son has never seen any adult form of too much that, besides what they show on cable.
Right.
Not, extensive porn or anything, but I know that he's aware of what he has and what it feels like, and when I touch myself this way, it makes me feel this way.
Right. So they actually don't know what's happening. They just enjoy that feeling. And so it starts from childhood. It really does.
Interesting. That's a interesting correlation that you put that with the parental. That's interesting. So let's move forward. That's
Okay, so what would you think you would ever do in the future when it comes to kinks?
I'm at a point where I want to try everything once.
So elaborate, what's everything?
I don't know. I'm not in the world for real, but
would you ever try bestiality?
Yeah.
Really?
I just said I'm willing to try everything.
Well, I mean, Brandon, being the only guy here, would you try bestiality? Like, they used to say that men used to have sex with sheeps. No. Because it felt just like a woman.
No,
I don't think.
Imagine.
I mean, I'm just being extra right now, but not to that extent. I think everything that is safe for the bedroom with 2 humans, I would try once. How about that? How about I clarify and clear that up?
I wouldn't do anything with an animal, me personally. I'm not knocking anybody that does. Is that legal?
It's not legal. It's not legal for that fact is because I'm pretty sure there was a sheep woman out there somewhere.
Oh, what they call what are those things called? The half man, half.
Right.
No, it's not called a horse. You say horse?
He said horse.
No, you're talking about those.
Somebody said horse.
I know what you're talking about. The man head and the horse body.
I gotta look that up. Okay,
I don't know what they're called.
We'll move forward. Pin that. No, I wouldn't want to do anything with an animal. Now, I will be honest and say I've watched horses fuck women.
Do you get off on it? Have you?
I think it was fun to look at. No, I didn't. I wouldn't masturbate to that. That's I don't know if y'all seen a horse dick. It's not.
It's huge.
Well, it's not.
It's huge.
It's crazy looking.
It's huge.
It is.
It looks like an uncircumcised
size to it.
Baseball bat.
It does have size to it. But but I've watched it. It used to be a website called Forum Teens when I was a kid.
Ooh.
And it used to be like me and my friends, we would get together and watch it. It's funny to watch these women fuck these horses. And since I've been an adult, I've watched it again. But no, that's not my go-to, like for porn. No.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
give me a judgmental look.
Like, okay, so the one thing that I would love to try is latex play. Like I would
Like the latex soup?
Yes. Like no, they have the liquid latex that you get into the bathtub and it just coats your body with latex.
You gotta explain this. Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I've never heard of that either, honey.
So you get into the bathtub, it coats your body with latex, but you're slipping and sliding and everything else. So I want to try that, either that or Jello. Like I want to get down in some Jello.
Centaur. That's what it's called. Centaur.
I knew he was gonna turn to Google for some
keyword sin.
Centaur. Yep, that's what it is. Yep. So you want to be in Jello and have
I would love
sex?
to be in Jello, yeah. But it had to be warm because I don't like the cold.
Warm Jello.
Yeah.
I like water.
Like jacuzzi is the best place to have sex.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Jello, you have to have a lot of Jello.
I know, but
Sheesh.
just think of the arousal, having to make all that Jello.
That would be so sticky.
That's
Are you gonna let us know when you do it?
Listen, we might videotape it for one of the episodes.
I would watch that.
They have spaghetti bowls too.
That's getting.
But it's just the looking forward to having all that Jello. So you're making all the Jello and getting aroused as you're making it, and then it's just building up that arousal to a certain point.
The funny thing about untraditional sex is the cleanup. So it's
cool
while you're doing it, but
no, that's why I want Jello, because then once you're done, you can just run some hot water and rinse it down the sink.
I don't know. I think that's gonna be sticky.
That's gonna be a mess, man.
So you're gonna stay in the tub though. It's not gonna move from the tub. You guys gonna just continue to be in the tub, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that would be pretty.
In the big jacuzzi tubs.
Definitely a hotel, right?
Yeah, in my house.
That will lose y'all deposit. Yeah, the deposit's gone. So you gotta chop that up. Oh, so
we got points. We don't use deposits.
yeah, okay, I hear you. Oh, do we have another topic?
Another topic. What do you think about?
Where are we on time?
We got 3 minutes.
We have 3 minutes.
Okay.
So let's see. We talked about impact play, but did we talk about role playing?
Yes.
Loosely, but
Loosely. Would you be involved with like a group role play?
Group. So the exhibitionist thing isn't my thing.
So you wouldn't fuck in a crowd?
If my woman wanted to, I would. I'm at a point now in my 30s that
Everything is about her.
yes, I want to please my woman. So if my woman comes and says, but I have limits. But if my woman said I want to be fucked while somebody's watching, then I would participate.
Okay.
I've experienced it, and it was so much fun. I really
Well, talk
enjoyed
about
myself.
Yeah, tell us about it.
In detail.
I don't know about too much detail, but that the experience I said at the swinger club, I was really nervous at first until I kind of saw everyone is just really loosely and real fun. So they have like these little individual rooms where you can kind of slide they have like curtains and stuff. Mm-hmm. So the guy I was with, we were in there doing our thing and somebody opened up the curtain. It was like 15 people just standing there. Mm-hmm. So at this point, I think I may have been on top.
Are you a screamer?
Not necessarily, but I think I put on an act for this, and
right.
So he got nervous. I could tell, like he was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god."
Did he go limp?
He did. He did.
Nerves are crazy.
But I mean, like they were like cheering you on,
right.
and you know it was the guy behind like jerking off. Like it was so fun to me.
See, I wouldn't mind doing that as long as it was okay with the situation. Like, I would go full blown in front of 50 million people. But
50 million.
When I tell you my knees was hurting, I didn't have the mega knees. You know, I don't have the Megan Thee Stallion knees. When I tell you I was riding, my knees was hurt, but I was just.
But you kept going. That's
And
the
the-
adrenaline.
Right.
She
She grabbed those reins and just kept on going.
the adrenaline. Yes,
So,
it was fun.
Are they allowed to, the spectators, are they allowed to touch you?
I guess if you allow, yes.
So you were okay with the touching?
They didn't touch me though.
They didn't touch you. Okay. So you just gave off
The energy.
The energy. That's
The energy,
it.
yeah, pretty much
energy.
like yes.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
so I
Interesting.
had but I think at the time I still was reserved. I had a tank top on still, and when they started watching, I came out my tank top, and I mean,
Just went off.
yeah, like I was so
You ripped
aroused.
your, like Hogan? You ripped your tank. That's crazy.
No, not like Hogan. I need my cami.
Did you choke him and was like...
No. I think I was in the upper position at that point. I was just sitting straight up because I wanted them to watch him as well.
Right,
Because
right.
I felt like if I would have been over him, they wouldn't have been able to see his faces and his reactions.
So you were being submissive at that time and giving him the masculine power.
Well, yeah, I think majority of the time I am submissive. I don't have in the bedroom. I mean, I have a dominant personality, but in the bedroom, I'm not as skilled and I'm not as exposed to as much, but I'm not dominant in the bedroom.
Okay.
Interesting.
Wow. Okay, well, we're getting ready to wrap it up. Thank you guys for the interesting conversation. This was amazing. I need to have both of you guys back.
Oh, goodness.
But this was our first episode of The Kink, Talking Dirty After Dark, and I'm your host, Kenya. If you would like to be a sponsor of the show, please go to The Kink and podcast at yahoo.com. And you can follow us also on IG at The Kink Podcast. And thank you for enjoying us, enjoying you. Have a great evening. Goodbye.
What about your party?
Oh, yes, I forgot. So, pretty soon we will be throwing a foot fetish party, and drop us a message at our Yahoo, The Kink Podcast at yahoo.com, and let us know if you'll be interested, and keep a watch out on Instagram for the foot fetish party. And that's it.
That's
Guys,
that.
you guys have a great night.